Good day, ladies and gentlemen. You're welcome to yet another interesting episode of this choral music series. Do not forget that this series is themed towards perfectionism in choral music performances, and today we will be talking about budgeting. Everything we need to know about budgeting. But before we go into today's episode, don't forget, like I always do, I will like to encourage you to kindly subscribe to this YouTube channel. Share this video with your friends, your choristers, your music directors, and everybody that you know that are very interested in choral music performances. Alright, so let's get into today's episode. Like I said, today we will be talking about budgeting a choral music production, how to create a budget for a choral music production. And I think the first thing we need to do is to, tell us what a budget is. Okay, so a budget is a financial plan. It is a document that contains how you will spend money on a particular concert or on a particular thing. So bringing it down to choral music production and performances, we could say that a budget is a financial plan of how you are going to spend money for a particular production that you are planning for. Budgeting is very, very important when it comes to choral music performances. Why? Because choral music is capital intensive. The production, everything that involves a choral music production and performance is, ladies and gentlemen, money all through. Talk of sound, talk of stage, talk of choristers, talk of accompanists, instruments, and every other thing. So you need money. So the first thing that should be on the mind of a director of music or anyone who wants to organize a choral music production is, how do we get funds? How do we raise funds? In some parts of the world, many choral groups have, they have access to grants to do this kind of things. But where I come from, nobody will give you grants here in Nigeria. Well, don't let me say that anyway. You get grants. You can get grants. But we don't rest on grants here in this part of the world. So how do you raise funds? How do you budget your performance? That's all we would like to just talk about in today's episode. So there are different categories that will be that will be taken care of, that will be inside the budget. Different categories of things that will be inside the budget. So what you can do as a music director is, once you have created your team members, people that will work with you, the person that will be in charge of costumes and probably props, the person that will be in charge of lights and sound, the person that will be in charge of this and that. All right, so when all of them, you have identified who will man those positions, you now ask them to go bring their budgets. Now, bear in mind that we are working towards perfectionism, and we believe that all these people that you have selected also have mindsets of perfectionism. So, having that at the back of your mind, we have shared our vision with one another. All of us know what is at stake and what we need to do to achieve maximum excellence. Therefore, go get your budget ready. Bring your budget. So each category, each portfolio will bring their budget in, all of which will be captured in the main budget. All right. Now, once this document is ready, I mean the main budget that has the details of every categories, every portfolios, how much they want to spend, how much they envisage on spending. All right. So once this document is ready, once we know the document, then we can say that yes, we will find money to run this concert, or let's wait till another time when we have money. All right, so budget is always the first thing, because budget, it captures your predictions. All right, of course, it is possible that while you are doing the budget, there are some things that, by the time the execution, by the time you are executing those things, it's possible that the prices at which you've attached to them will differ. It's very, very realistic. Now, what do we do in those cases? We review budgets when it comes to that line. But of course, let me just give us a step-to-step guide of how to create a budget. Yeah. Personally, I feel that the first thing to do is to pick a date for the performance. Now, this is what I mean. I'm not saying that you should pick a date per se, but pick a working date, a tentative date, something that the whole group can work with, because there are a lot of things that are attached to picking the date. You will be able to know the number of rehearsals you will have. You will be able to know those who will, those who will need to, the things you need to use money for during rehearsals. You may need to buy fuel to your generator. You may need to, rent some instruments. You may need some companies to come down to your rehearsals. You may even need to pay your members for transport fare and rehearsal allowances. So all these things will have to be captured also in the budget. So I feel that the first thing to do is to pick a date. So pick that date now. So once a date is picked, then you need to decide what you will do in that period of time. What are the things you want to do? Do you want to rehearse 24 times before the performance? Would you like to rehearse 50 times? All right, all these things you will have to decide and know what to do per time. Do you want to, is it part of the plan that every third rehearsal you are going to, have a robust session with the orchestra? All these things must be planned, and everything will be captured in the budget. Okay, so finally, what you need to do, to have that document called a budget, is to I've said it before. Let your team members go out and look for the exact figures that you need to make this thing work. If you are going to be renting cameras for video and photo coverages, you will need to meet those who are doing the business, those who are in the business, and ask them to give you an invoice for this, for that. So please do not allow any of your team members to come and just say, okay, for costume it's going to cost us 200,000 naira, and not give a breakdown. No, we don't do it like that. There should be a document that will support your claim from A to Z, and everything will be captured in the budget. So if you have an invoice for every thing that you need to do, it's easier to reach out to those who want to supply you with that thing that you are looking for, and tell them, look, okay, can we reach an agreement? We may not be able to pay this certain amount, but we still want to get this quality. Can we reach an agreement in terms of sponsorship? Can we reach an agreement in terms of collaborations, etc., etc.? So it helps to have a workable budget, because there are some budgets that you will do them and you yourself as a team, that this is not workable. So the best thing to do is to make sure that all your team members, they do their jobs rightfully, they do it well, and then arrive at something. Now, when you arrive at a final figure, please do not be afraid. Even if you don't have the money, do not be afraid. It is not compulsory that you hold the concert that time. You can hold on for a while and raise some funds before you hold that concert. Nobody will arrest you if you don't hold the concert as at when you envisage to hold the concert. So please, you should, as a music director or a producer, have a certain amount of money that can run with that production before you start telling people to go start rehearsals. So all this needs to be captured, and you need to think about all this before you go into choral music production. Okay, thank you very much. This is the 12th episode, like I said before. Next week we are going to conclude this series on choral music performances. And don't worry, next week I'm going to give a brief of what we've been discussing from the first episode up until the 12th episode. So you cannot miss that episode. I promise you it's going to be very, very engaging, very, very interesting, and you will enjoy it. See you there. See you next week. It's still Samson Oladosu EBE saying bye bye. Have a nice day.